Hello and welcome to this edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Michelle Marino.
And I'm Paul Werlin.
At Arlington Public News, we bring you stories of interest to Arlington and surrounding communities. In tonight's newscast, we speak to a middle school teacher who won a national award for excellence. We discuss domestic violence and what you can do to stop it. And we hear from two standout athletes on the verge of graduating from high school.
Plus, a look at traffic and the challenges cars and pedestrians face while sharing the road. That and more up next. Stay with us.
An East Arlington neighborhood is mourning the death of a beloved longtime resident. 91-year-old William Dotson was struck and killed by a car on Massachusetts Avenue, March 23rd. The Boston Globe reports that the World War II veteran walked the neighborhood by Henderson Street every day, stopping by the Fox Library and local businesses. To get a better understanding of the challenges facing pedestrians, cars, and bicycles sharing the road, APN spoke to Police Captain Richard Flynn about traffic incidents around town.
I'm James Milan, and I'm here with Arlington Police Captain Richard Flynn. Captain Flynn, thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it.
We wanted to talk to you about an issue that affects each and every Arlingtonian, and that is road safety. As we're all aware, there are multiple constituencies sharing our roads these days, and everybody has their experiences as a pedestrian, as a motorist, perhaps as a cyclist as well. So we're looking to you for some strategies for how to safely navigate the roads, whether you are walking, riding, or driving.
I've noticed in the last number of years that the roads in town, they are more congested. You know, we have motorists and bicyclists and pedestrians that are trying to share the roadway. You know, we ask motorists to do their job when they're in a car. You know, you're driving a 1,000, 2,000 pound motor vehicle. We're asking them that they concentrate, limit the distractions. We understand the distractions out there. Limit your distractions and focus on the job at hand, which is safely operating a motor vehicle. Pedestrians, I think we've never had as many bicyclists out in the roadway as we do now. So many people are, they're being conscious in how they get to work and really trying to do the right thing. We've made allowances for them, bicycle lanes and whatnot, but, we also ask that they use common sense when they're out there. You're going to be in traffic, you're going to be operating a bicycle, you want to be considered a motorist, be able to move through traffic, fantastic. But just pay attention to those laws that the motorists pay attention to. When you come up to a red light, obey the red lights. If you want to cross in a crosswalk on your bicycle, we ask that you dismount, and then you gain the benefits of being a pedestrian on a crosswalk. You just can't assume these days that people know you're there or that, they recognize that you're trying to make your way across the road. You need to really take the time, and make that eye contact so you're sure that they know you're there. It's really the world that we live in. We have so many people trying to share that same roadway. And life seems there's just not enough time to get everywhere that you're trying to do. And unfortunately, sometimes when people get into motor vehicles, they're making telephone calls and their attention might not be exactly where it needs to be. So, we ask everybody who takes part in using those roadways to just do the right thing when you're out there. Focus on the job at hand,
And pretty much understand that your attention needs to be on those things at all times.
Yeah, not just distraction in a motor vehicle, but distraction, walking. How many people nowadays do you see walking with, earbuds in and really focusing on a phone and just kind of strolling and not really focusing on what they're doing? We just ask that, just take a moment, focus at the job at hand, and get to where you need to get to safely.
Captain Flynn, thanks very much for your time today, and let's
Pleasure.
hope that folks are paying attention to what you're saying as well as to the conditions on the road.
Thank you, James. I appreciate it.
All right, take care.
A large swath of open land the town has been trying to protect may soon see some development. 17 acres along Route 2, long owned by the David Mugar family, could become a mix of housing and open space. The 219-unit housing complex would be built under the state's 40B law, which allows developers to bypass some local zoning regulations in exchange for providing affordable housing. Town officials have long expressed serious concerns about flooding in the area. APN's news intern Tyler Trudeau visited the site and has more.
New affordable housing could be coming to Arlington. Arlington town officials with Oak Tree Development are planning to bring 219 new units to the Mugar site in East Arlington off Route 2. With Project 40B still in the planning phase, main problems with the site are concerns of land conservation and the site flooding. The Mugar site is one of the final open spaces left in the town of Arlington. The Arlington Land Trust is a group that is trying to keep Mugar site protected. Conserving this land is important because the Mugar site is located on a 100-year floodplain. It is used as a buffer of stormwater from the downstream neighborhoods of East Arlington. The site has major drainage problems. 7 out of 17 acres are planned to be used in Project 40B.
I am at Thorndike Field near the possible Mugar site where Arlington officials plan to build 219 affordable housing units. The closeness to the Alewife T station makes this a very convenient place to live. For Arlington Public News, I'm Tyler Trudeau.
Arlington is taking part in the National White Ribbon Campaign. On Thursday, March 26th, Town Hall is hosting a public forum as part of the movement of men and boys working to end domestic violence against women and girls. Arlington Public News invited 2 active members of our community to discuss the goals of the nationwide effort.
Domestic violence is a growing concern not only in America but around the world. To know what we can do to take a stand against it, we're here with Elaine Shea and Craig Norberg-Bohm to tell us about White Ribbon Day and the Jane Doe organization. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's a delight to be here. Thank you.
What is domestic violence?
Well, mainly what domestic violence is when one partner has power and control over another partner. And it can take all kinds of forms. Often we think of it in terms of physical abuse. That's really the only kind of abuse there is. But that isn't so. What the women who've come to the group for many, many years have said is that the verbal and emotional abuse is the most damaging. They will hear over and over from their partner, you're no good, nobody wants you, you're fat, you're ugly, who would look at you? I'm the only one who will ever love you. You'd be crazy to ever leave because I'm the only one who wants you. And after you hear that over and over, plus one of the techniques of the abuser is to isolate the victim. And so the victim has no one else saying, you know what, that's crazy, you're fine, you're good. They just hear this negative talk all the time, and they begin to believe it, and they don't have the energy or the wherewithal to take care of themselves.
What is the White Ribbon event?
Well, the White Ribbon event, the White Ribbon Day event that we operate is the first Thursday in March, where we ask men and boys from all over the Commonwealth to take a pledge and be part of the solution. Wear this white ribbon that I'm wearing today is a wonderful outreach, celebratory outreach about how we reimagine manhood, because part of the problem is how we imagine real men are also really violent. That's about being in charge, and the kind of way we raise children is something we should all be talking about. We have a hashtag called Reimagine Manhood, and a really nice short PSA that talks about this. There are negative stereotypes about manhood, about not being a sissy and being strong and the sturdy oak, which things we also value, but also it contains us in a way that we're not complete. And so we tell boys, don't cry, don't have your feelings, don't process well. So we have adult men who don't take care of themselves as well as we'd like them to. There's health issues involved. So to reimagine manhood together, that's our theme, is reimagine all of this together.
I understand that this is largely organized by Jane Doe.
That is.
So what is a Jane Doe organization?
Sure. Jane Doe, Inc. is the association of emergency centers around the state, domestic violence programs and sexual assault programs. And this is our collaboration. We call it our coalition. Every state has a coalition or two, and this is Jane Doe Inc. is a state coalition in Massachusetts against sexual and domestic violence. We do the emergency services, and near in Arlington it would be REACH, and located in Waltham. There's another program in Somerville. There's programs in the city. There's a lot of programs around the metro area that support survivors, and so there is help available, and Jane Doe supports the organizations that provide that help.
It's scary to reach out for help. How would you urge someone to take that step?
You want to talk about that?
Yeah, well, First
program.
Step has, we have these brochures, and there are some in the town hall, and they're around town in different places, also at the police station. But you can call the First Step support group and helpline. The number is 781-316-3219. And it will be a confidential conversation. The person who answers will then try and set up an appointment to meet. and to talk through, and someone might be ready to join the group, maybe not, but they could advise them of other resources.
I too urge you all to speak up against domestic violence. On behalf of Elaine Shea and Craig Norberg-Bohm, for Arlington Public News, I'm Akriti Jagmohan. Thank you for joining us.
You know, Paul, I think this is a very important social issue, and I'm glad to see that it's been brought to the forefront of mainstream media recently, with a lot of celebrities and athletes speaking out against domestic violence.
Definitely, and it's really great that the Arlington Police Department has also participated in the education. And if you like, you can wear a white ribbon in support of the program. Members of the Arlington Police Force are being honored for going above and beyond. The Arlington Police Department recently awarded officers who quickly reacted when they were needed. APN spoke to some of the award recipients and to department staff about why it is important to recognize their own.
Here with Captain Flynn from Arlington Police Department. How you doing today, Captain?
Good, Nick.
Thanks for joining us. So I wanted to ask you about the annual ceremony and award dinner that you guys have every year. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, each year we have an employee recognition program, and it gives us a chance to recognize, like I said, employees here and some citizens as well for all the good work that they do during the year.
Tell us about some of the officers that got awards this year.
This year was actually it was a busy year. Well, it was year 2014. It was a busy year. So the award ceremony is centered around, like I said, that recognition of those people. So during this year's ceremony, we had the opportunity to do a swearing-in ceremony for several officers who were promoted to sergeant and to lieutenant. Then we had a situation in town this year where we had an armed bank robbery. Officer Michael Foley received the Medal of Valor for taking 2 armed suspects into custody. Fantastic police work.
First off, congratulations. How does it feel to have received this honor?
It was an incredible honor. Felt like I made a difference.
What has it been like for you serving the city of Arlington?
It's been an honor. My family's from Arlington, so giving back to the community I grew up in.
So I'm sure receiving this Medal of Honor has been meant quite a lot to you.
It was a very big honor to receive the medal, but I hope I never have to go through something like that again.
And then from there, we recognize John Kelly as our Police Officer of the Year. And that distinction is not, on a single event. That's really on just how he conducts himself and how he does his job day in and day out. He does such a great job.
This past week, you were recognized with the Honorable Award of Officer of the Year. What does that mean to you?
It means that my bosses have faith in me to do a good job, and that means a lot. That's really the only thing that matters to me, is that my bosses have faith that I can do my job appropriately.
Now, Chief Ryan said this year was very difficult for Arlington law enforcement. What made this year so different from others, and what did you do to stay on top of the job?
It's a bad time in general for the police force. A lot of bad media attention, and the only thing you really have to do is just continue to do a good job.
What are you most proud of as a police officer?
Having won the award and knowing that my bosses have faith in me to do a good job and that my teammates in the field rely on me makes me proud.
It's an important night for us. I think it's the most important thing that I do here. It's an opportunity for us to recognize the people here, and again, citizens in town, for just the good work that they do, or just stepping up, beyond that call of duty. Fantastic stuff.
Absolutely, it's that good sense of community.
It's fantastic, and it's that time that we can say thanks to the people that work here for the great stuff they do every day.
I'm Nick Gaw with Arlington Public News. Thank you very much, Captain, for joining us today.
Thanks for coming. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
All right.
Ottoson Middle School's technology engineering teacher, Brandy Whitney, was nationally recognized with the 2015 Pasco STEM Educator Award. Each year, the National Award honors one teacher from a middle school for excellence and innovation in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics education. As part of her award, Whitney will present her curriculum at a national share-a-thon, and the Ottoson Middle School will receive $5,000 in scientific equipment.
Hello and welcome. My name is Gayatri Sundarajan. Today I am joined in the studio by Mrs. Brandy Whitney, the Audison Middle School tech teacher who has received the PASCO STEM Teacher Award for 2015. She's the only middle school tech teacher in the country to receive this honor. Arlington is lucky to have Mrs. Whitney as one of its teachers. Congratulations.
Thanks, Gayatri.
Can you tell us a little bit about the award itself?
The PASCO STEM Educator Award is through the National Science Teaching Association. And what it is you apply for leadership in the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematic fields. So I had to come up with 3 people who were willing to write me letters of support, explain what I do in the classroom, give examples of my curriculum, where I would like to go with the PASCO award if I received it, and where my future goals and interests in STEM lie. The award gives an actual award to the recipient. They have you attend the NSTA, the National Science Teaching Association conference. You come back with a voucher for $5,000 worth of PASCO scientific equipment. So they are a scientific equipment manufacturer. So our school will be getting $5,000 worth of meters and other equipment to help add more metrics and analysis to our engineering program.
Well, that is awesome. So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and kind of how you got to this point?
Science, technology, and engineering kind of found me. I started out as a general science teacher. I took some time off to have children. When I came back into teaching, there was a STEM position open at a local school, not the Audison. I realized that it was a branch off of physics, realistically, which I love teaching. I say that a physics teacher or a science, technology, engineering teacher is the only teacher who gets to blow stuff up as part of their job. When I started my endeavor into it, I loved it. I loved the hands-on nature of the curriculum. And then I found out there weren't really any other or very few female teachers teaching exclusively technology engineering. Once I found that out, I didn't want to leave it. And it kind of grew on me, and now it's my thing. I don't think I could ever leave it to go back to general science, though I still love all the sciences.
Going back to the PASCO award, can you tell us your first reaction when you found out that you won?
I was shocked. I went, wait a minute, I won. I couldn't quite believe it was real. And then my second thought was, oh my goodness, I have to go to Chicago. I mean, one of the bigger things I took away from it was I got to go to classes by other teachers at this convention teaching. So it was this great, halls of learning where teachers just kind of give to each other their best tricks of the trade to go back and be even better.
What does STEM education mean more personally to you?
Personally, I think STEM is really more of a concept as opposed to a class. It's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. I think it is showing the students that the concepts that they learn in their science class, the equations they're solving in math class, the thinking skills they're learning in their other classes like history, and the communication in English have a purpose in the real world. I think it's important to be a role model for girls in science. There aren't a lot. I know that growing up. And to kind of encourage others to think past what a societal norm is. And say, okay, no, there aren't many female engineers, but that's going to change, and just take that as a given.
For Mrs. Brandy Whitney, this is Gayatri Sundarajan reporting for Arlington Public News.
Arlington High School senior Andrew Ellis recently broke the school record for most career wins in wrestling. For an insight into what it took to make it happen, APN spoke to the wrestling champ.
Andrew Ellis is used to the cheering. After all, that's all he heard this season. A perfect 40-0 campaign made the Arlington High School senior the winningest wrestler in school history. But if you ask Andrew how many wins he finished with, he couldn't tell you. He had already reached all of his milestones.
There are a couple big landmarks. 100 was a big one for wins, and 115 because that was the previous record. But after that, it kind of stopped really mattering.
An undefeated season gave Ellis another accolade. He won his first individual state title at the 126-pound weight class.
Basically, I knew that was one of the goals going in, become a state champ. So I just sort of knew, basically, work harder than the other guys, and I'd get it.
Andrew credits much of his success to his coach, Kevin Cummings. Cummings has known Andrew since he recruited him to wrestle back in the 6th grade.
He's everything you could want in a coach. We know he's trying to get us better, so we're willing to do what he says. We have trust in him that he'll get us where we need to be.
His historic high school career is in the books. The biggest lesson he learned comes as no surprise after a 40-0 senior season.
Work hard, that'll get you where you need to be. Finish strong was probably the biggest lesson.
Andrew hasn't chosen a school yet, but he will have plenty of choices. He will be able to choose to wrestle at either Division I, II, or III. Reporting from Arlington High School, I'm Damon Turbot.
Another Arlington High School senior standout is Miles Robinson. Robinson dominated the boards in basketball, reaching a career high of 1,000 points. And basketball is not his best sport. APN met with Miles about his historic career and his plans for the future.
Whether on the soccer field or on the basketball court, Miles Robinson is a star. The Spy Ponder senior is fresh off of what is being called the best basketball season in the history of Arlington High School. Robinson was a standout, of course, and the success made this winter his most memorable season.
I've never been a part of a team that's been 20-0 ever. I've never been a part of a team that's won this many games and had like so much fun together. So I think it's actually first.
The highlight of his season came in February when he reached a major milestone, scoring his 1,000th career point, and of course, he remembers the moment very well.
Coming into halftime, I knew I needed 2 more points. I took my first shot I had open. It was like a pull-up jumper or something that like rattled home. It wasn't the nicest point, but I knew I got it then.
Given his success on the hardwood, you would think he would be pursuing a future in basketball, but he's not. In fact, it's not even his best sport. Miles is committed to playing soccer for Syracuse University next season. His hard work has paid off, and the 35th ranked recruit in the entire nation will have much to look forward to in just a few months.
It takes a lot of time. I mean, I've been playing soccer for my whole life. I like soccer, like I think a little more than basketball, and I'm better at soccer too. So I'm really excited for Syracuse next season.
Despite dedicating large amounts of time to athletics, Miles does like his free time and likes to just be a teenager.
Just hang out with like my friends, and like most of my friends are on the basketball team. So yeah, just hang around with my friends, play some video games, normal like high school things.
His high school athletic career is over, giving him a little more free time. He has been able to reflect on his achievements and talked about his favorite moment as a Spy Ponder.
I think for Arlington, I think it has to be like probably the 1,000 point, because I don't know, it means a lot to me, and like I don't know, I liked it. It was a fun time. So.
Congratulations to Miles for all of his achievements both on the court and on the field. We'll be looking forward to seeing how he does for the Orange next season. Reporting from Arlington High School, I'm Damon Turbot.
Now, Michelle, Robinson's coach, John Bowler, says Robinson is the best athlete ever to come out of Arlington High School.
I think that's phenomenal, and as a former college athlete a while ago, I think it's great to see young athletes really interested in developing their careers and taking it to the next level.
Absolutely. The calendar says spring, so news producer Julia Bloom walked around town looking for signs of it.
I don't know about you, but I want to see flowers. Right now, all I see is dirty snow, slippery ice, and dead grass. The only interesting things on the ground are window shades and shopping carts, so I went to the Boston Flower Show for the real deal. I saw beautiful displays of flowers of every kind, along with bonsai plants and carnivorous ones. These displays were decorated with everything from live fish to paper statues, and some were small enough to fit inside a box. There was even a huge truck designed to pick up large trees and replant them elsewhere, and with all the plants around, the whole hall smelled wonderful. Back in Arlington, I spotted a band of turkeys that have been roaming around town. These birds are enjoying last year's grass and exploring the back lot of our studio. These turkeys stick together as they explore, so leave them alone and they'll move on. For Arlington Public News, this is Julia Bloom.
So those turkeys you just saw there have been dubbed the Gang of Four by the Arlington Animal Control. The local control officer has been working with State Fisheries and Wildlife, as well as the Environmental Police, to move them out of the Brattle Street area, where they became a traffic hazard. Control Officer Amanda Kennedy tells APN that people should not feed the turkeys, as that is what causes them to stick around. And by the way, please don't feed the Canada geese. It's against the law. And we are reminded that turkeys and geese can hurt you, so keep a healthy distance. Michelle, wonder why the turkey crossed the road, particularly Brattle Street.
I'm thinking he might have been after a nice A&A deli sandwich.
Yeah, yeah, maybe. That's at the foot of Brattle Street, so that could be why.
Arlington Public News is a production of Arlington Community Media and functions as a gateway for local participation in issues and events of interest to the community.
Check out our latest segments on the web at news.acmi.tv and be sure to like us on Facebook. Join us next time for another edition of Arlington Public News. I'm Paul Werlin.
And I'm Michelle Marino. See you next time.